Hello and welcome to our millions of viewers here in Nigeria, the continent, and all around the world. This is Lunchtime Politics, where we unpack some of the biggest stories and events happening right here in Nigeria. I am Kelly Egiga. We're tracking events across the country and we'll bring you up to speed. Well, let's get things started from the Lagos-Ibadan expressway, where it was a terrific and tragic Thursday morning, as at least 6 persons died following an accident involving 5 articulated trucks that collided along the Kwara end of the expressway. Our correspondents gathered that an accident had occurred the previous day, that's yesterday, involving 2 vehicles that collided and got burned. These trucks you see on your screen from the previous day were being towed in the early hours of today, when another oncoming truck suffered brake failure and rammed into them. Motorists and travelers on the outbound and incoming sections of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway we hear are still currently stuck to an extent in the gridlock, wherever security agencies, including the police, the FRSC and the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, have since arrived at the scene to help restore order. And the Commissioner of Police in Lagos State, who spoke exclusively to channels just a moment ago, is also on the scene, where he revealed that one of the officers of the force was involved in the accident and has been sadly confirmed dead.
We have a case of multiple accidents at the scene that we have, which is between the border between Ogun and Lagos States. As early as 5 a.m., we have been on it, and we gather all the other agencies that are assisting us, complementing the police here. We have the LAFA with us, and then we have the road safety, another security agency that can see. It's a case of multiple accidents, which is currently under investigation. We recovered so far 3 bodies and additional 1 body still being 3 bodies. Yes, 1 body has been recovered once. Then we have additional one that will cover off the bridge into the water. And it's very unfortunate that we lost one of our personnel, a police inspector, that came with the advanced team to salvage the situation, because the accident happened and others continue to get involved. You can see at my hand the trailers that were involved in the accident, and I've just directed that the road should be open, creating a 2-way corridor out of this scene of the accident to ensure that Nigerians that are on the queue are not subjected to undue hardship. And I've equally directed all the DPOs along this route, inward Lagos and outward Lagos, to go out with their personnel to ensure that we clear the backlog of traffic that can come up as a result of this accident. We are here. I'm going to continue to be here with them, with all my personnel, and I've equally deployed massively so that we can, as quick as possible, get the area free for traffic. So it's just that, like I said earlier, that directed the road to be open, having created the corridor. Salvage effort is still underway. The services were with us. They are still coming up with more ambulances to rescue other people that suffered the accident. Thank you.
How many vehicles were involved from what you
For now, we have about 5 vehicles that were involved in this accident, all articulated vehicles.
So 4 people have suspected the death. 3 have been confirmed dead. 1 is in the water. Is there anyone that's been taken to hospital, maybe because they were injured? How many?
Quite a number of people have been taken to hospital. I think precisely about 3 people have been rescued to the hospital from the scene of the accident. And who is not suspected, they died on the spot, and their body have been taken by the Lagos ambulances to the morgue. We want to call on road users, especially those who have articulated vehicles, to stop this kind of recklessness, because if they are not reckless in their driving habit, we won't have this kind of accident. At the beginning, we had a trailer-free brake, and that's why it is important for everybody that is in charge of a vehicle or that owns a vehicle to ensure that the vehicle are properly maintained. on time. All those who are involved in this accident, that caused the accident will be prosecuted to serve as deterrent others. The full presence of the law will be implemented.
So, preliminary observation from you says that it was tail brake on one of the vehicles.
That was the on the spot assessment that we got when we arrived there, as early as 0500 hours in the morning. But we are not limited to only hearsay. We are going for that to go deep into the investigation of what has caused the accident. My view, the Nigerian Police Force today is the only agency that investigates cases of accidents, whether it is minor, whether it is serious, and whether it is fatal or multiple, like we have witnessed. We have the constitutional responsibility to investigate, and we are the sole agency that carries out such investigation. The outcome of the investigation will certainly be made public for all Nigerians to know.
All right, so there you go. Olohudare Jimoh, Commissioner of Police, Lagos State, speaking exclusively to Channels TV, precisely our correspondent, Ayo Makinde. There we understand the latest updates now is that the route has been cleared, or both sections of the route has now been cleared, and vehicles are moving smoothly. We'll bring you up to speed with more updates as soon as we get there. But in the meantime, our thoughts and prayers are with the family of those that have departed in this tragic incident. Let's bring you more nationwide stories now. President Bola Tinubu has formally exercised his constitutional prerogative of mercy by signing the instruments for the release and sentence commutation of selected convicted persons. A statement issued by the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, explains that the decision followed consultations with the Council of State and a board review of public sentiment. However, individuals convicted of serious crimes, including kidnapping, human trafficking, drug-related offenses, fraud and arms dealing, were removed from the original pardon list due to national security concerns and sensitivity to victims. The statement adds that the review was necessary to uphold public trust, boost the morale of security agencies, and ensure adherence to both domestic and international obligations. The president's pardons, clemency, sentence commutations sparked significant controversy over the inclusion of certain names. Some of the most controversial names initially mentioned and widely reported in the media for either pardon or sentence commutation include Miriam Sanda, convicted in 2020 for culpable homicide of her husband, Bilyaminu Bello, and initially sentenced to death by hanging. Her inclusion was controversial as her sentence was reportedly commuted to 12 years on grounds like compassion. Kelvin Prosper Oniara, described as a notorious kingpin kidnap, whose activities spanned multiple states. His inclusion for clemency sparked outrage due to the nature of his violent crimes. Farouk Lawan, a former member of the House of Representatives, was sentenced to 5 years in 2021 for bribery, collecting $500,000 from a businessman. His inclusion as a politically exposed person convicted of corruption also drew criticisms nationwide. Were convicted drug offenders. A number of individuals convicted for various drug-related offenses, including trafficking, possession of cannabis, etc., were reportedly included for reduced terms or clemency. This also drew criticisms that it could undermine Nigeria's anti-narcotics campaign. All right, away from that story now, some legal practitioners have described as unworkable and dangerous the proposed amendments to the Electoral Act 2022, which seeks to shift the traditional burden of proof in election petitions from the petitioner to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The position was made by a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Joseph Daudu, at a conference organized by the Rule of Law Forum in Abuja. Our correspondent Emmanuel Ikele reports.
Legal luminaries are attending this conference by the Rule of Law Forum to discuss issues that affect the judiciary and to dissect ongoing electoral reform proposals.
To immerse your lives into.
A former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Joseph Daudu, is the convener, and the recent amendment to the Electoral Act is the focus of discussion. Specifically, the forum is considering the unworkability of any move to transfer the traditional burden of proof from the petitioner to the respondent, which could be the Independent National Electoral Commission.
Where there is a collision between a provision in an act that is not in the Evidence Act, that is not, because the Evidence Act is specifically provided for in the first schedule as being within the powers of the National Assembly. So where that provision is not amended, the National Assembly cannot, with respect, pardon my choice of words, smuggle the issue of transfer or reversal of the proof of burden of proof to INEC without touching the Evidence Act.
The proposed amendment seeks to compel the election management body, INEC, who is mostly the respondent in an election petition, to prove that the election, if conducted, is valid. Above and the lawyers say is both illogical and practically impossible.
Once INEC is made to discharge the burden of proof of whether an election is marred by corrupt practices or there is non-compliance with the Electoral Act, or that the respondent did not win the election by majority of lawful votes, it means that INEC has aligned itself with the respondent, who was declared as elected to prove or validate his due election and return.
I'll be very slow to comment on this current one and to say that because of the expertise, experience, and brilliance of the man who has counseled the National Assembly on this Electoral Act, it should thread slowly with transferring burden of proof to INEC.
The consensus at the event is clear. If Nigeria must reform its elections, such reforms must be guided by clarity, justice, and legal realism, not political convenience. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
All right. Well, just like that report, let's get to stay with issues around elections as we get to talk about the nationwide continuous voter registration. The CVR exercise in Nigeria here is currently ongoing across the nation. It began this year, August precisely, and the exercise is conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and is scheduled to end or run until August 30, 2026, especially by that extension from the electoral umpire. But we'll pay close attention to Kwara State as well to see how the exercise is faring there. We are joined this hour by Malam Mohammed Baba Okanla, who is Chairman Kwara State Independent Electoral Commission. He joins us live from our Abuja studios. Well, thank you indeed, Malam Okanla, for agreeing to talk to us here on Lunchtime Politics. I'm not sure.
Good morning. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon. Great. We can hear you now. So, for starters, yes, for starters, just how is the nationwide CVR exercise ongoing in Kwara State, where you are the resident electoral commissioner?
Yes. It was in the glory of God with the activity of the continuous voter registration exercise in the state. The resident electoral commission in Kwara State, Dr. Longpet Ale, we are collaborating with the state INEC, the state independent electoral commission, to sensitize Kwarans on the importance attached to the ongoing for continuous voter registration exercise. The continuous voter registration exercise is in its phases. It is 1, 2, 3, and 4. It has started, the program has started since this year, August, where eligible voters in the states were persuaded and were advised to go out en masse to do their registration in different places. Those that were under age of 18 before the last general election, that is year 2023, who has now attained the age of 18 are now allowed to do their registration in various local government of the state. We have categories of some of the Kwarans too that were relocated from places and relocated and settled down in Kwara State. They were also given the opportunity to participate in the continuous registration exercise. We have some other categories who has their voter registration card being mutilated or being whose voter registration have got spoiled. They have the chances again to go and renew and update their data with the with the National Independent Electoral Commission in the state. Also, we have those that have married immediately after the just concluded national election, who by virtue of that marriage, their name had to be changed. They were opportune too to participate in the registration exercise. Also, we have the categories of people who have lost, maybe by one way or the other, they have lost their voter registration card. They were given the opportunity to participate in the continuous voter registration exercise across all the 16 local governments of the state. The Independent National Electoral Commission in the state, in collaboration with the State Independent Electoral Commission, serious effort have been in place in all the 16 local governments to ensure that those that were registered records were kept intact, that will be used against the coming general election. It will be used by the Independent Electoral Commission against the coming local government election in the state.
There are so many questions running through my mind, but I know that as of 2016, the population in Kwara State was around 3.2 million. That number should have more than doubled now between 2016 and now. Give us a sense of just how many persons, in terms of the numbers now and data, give us a sense or paint a picture for our viewers, if you may, about the numbers. Do a breakdown for us of how many persons have registered in this ongoing exercise.
Well, as at now, the accurate figure of registered voters cannot be ascertained. And that is one. Then two, the Kwara State Independent Electoral Commission is not responsible to collate or to make official announcement of all the registered voters so far. The computation relation lies in the Independent National Electoral Commission in the state. We are partnering with the INEC to ensure that all Kwarans participated in the registration exercise. And as to our own hand, all the 16 local government areas in the state, we have sensitized and mobilized those that are eligible to participate in the coming general election to go out and register and make necessary correction on their voter card, as the case may be.
All right. In terms of perhaps some of the challenges that you may be experiencing, out of the 36 states in this country, Kwara is, I think, the ninth largest in terms of geography. I imagine that perhaps should pose some sort of a major challenge for you. So how are you having to manage going around ensuring this awareness and campaign to ensure that Nigerians who are in Kwara State are able to understand just how essential this exercise is ahead of the general elections in 2027?
Yes, to the glory of God, sir, the Kwara State Independent Electoral Commission as representative, as a board member, as a commissioner in the commission. We have the 3 senatorial districts in the state as representative in the commission. Those commissioners that were representing each of their senatorial districts, together with the electoral officer and assistant electoral commission in each of the local governments of the state, were shadowed with the responsibility of the local government of their area. We were divided into 3 senatorial districts. We have the electoral officers, for example, in the Ekiti local government area of Kwara State, there is electoral officer and there is an assistant electoral officer attached to a commissioner from that locality. They will be in charge of sensitizing the people in their locality. There is also another commissioner from Edu who is working in line with the man from Barutin, Moro, Edu, to cover the area of Kwara North. Then in the Kwara Central, we have commissioners who are working along with the Assistant Electoral Commission and Electoral Commissioners too, in all the local government that, like as a local government, Ilorin West, Ilorin East, Ilorin South of Kwara State. So we decentralized and we divided ourselves into the 3 senatorial districts to ensure that people in those localities were sensitized and were mobilized to go out and complete their voters registration exercise in order for them to get themselves prepared ready to participate in the coming election, be it local government election or national election come 2027.
I mean, I wish we had the numbers so we can play around with this conversation. One thing we have seen in very recent times, which has marred our electoral process, is the issue of voter apathy. It looks like Nigerians are gradually losing faith in the electoral process, and that's why they prefer not to go to the polls and rather stay at home. And I'm wondering perhaps how you, in your capacity, you're ensuring that Nigerians who are residents in Kwara State, you know, can perhaps have some sort of trust in the polls and the process, and how you intend to fight and tackle this issue of voter apathy, because it's a major concern in the electoral process. Is that correct?
Well, just as you have said it, the total number of registered voters, the INEC has made available registration for all people in different localities. And those that registered in this locality were computed. And before any election could take place, there's what we call voters register. Voter register will be placed against each polling unit of the state, where electorate will check and cross-check where their names are. Before that stage, those that have registered, who has an error, who has a spelling error, whatever error in their names, how their name is written, whether their name is wrongly spelled, whatever, they have opportunity to correct it. And those that have their own passport, because in the registration exercise, the INEC has made available, they are capturing their thumb printing and their passport photograph. And all these captions will be used on the voters register. And the voter register will be placed on each polling unit of the state. So each and every eligible voters who want to participate in the election will go there. There is a column there where all the registered voters in each of the polling units are indicated. So by so doing, if election is conducted and votes are casted and counted, it's going to be synchronized with the number on the list of the voter register pasted against each of the polling units available in that locality. And at the same time, they are representative of each political parties that participated in the election. They are always on ground to witness the vote cast, vote counted, and declaration of results. It is from there on, they will now synchronize the number of vote count with the number of accredited voters on the voters register before the final result is declared or is announced.
All right, let me put you on the spot. If you could possibly recommend any sort of key electoral reforms to the Kwara State government, what would that recommendation be and why?
Well, it's true that there is no process that is perfect. But as soon as a process is underway and there is a mistake or there is an error somewhere, one has to find a means of amending or finding a solution to it. The only area that I think would be necessary is that it is the reluctanciness of the voters. The voters are not, just as you have rightly said at that time, that some of them are not willing to come and cast their vote. But it's not in the best interest for them to decide like that. They have to they have to come out and exercise their voters' right. And by so doing, they will be fulfilled too as well. They're on the part of the government. Just as the government is trying, and whatever government you do, human being too, both the commission and the electorate has to complement government effort by enduring and following the rule of the game. And when the rule of the game is followed to the letter, definitely there wouldn't be chaos For example, take for example in a place where some political parties are not to participate in the election, and some other the other parties who are ready to participate in the election. Do we now say those that participate in the election, their vote will not be counted, while others decided not to participate? I would advise that all eligible voters in the state to come out and vote. And since the government has provided a level playing ground for all the participants, it is now the ball is in the court of the electorate.
Well, that level playing ground, for many, some have questioned just how level the playing ground is for those perhaps who belong to the opposition camp. I'm not sure if it was a deliberate or intentional attempt to not say anything about issues around innovations and the call for electronic voting and transmission and all of that. But let's anchor our conversation here and leave it for another day. Malam Mohammed Baba Okanla is Chairman, Kwara State Independent Electoral Commission. Thank you indeed for your time and perspectives on the program.
Thank you, sir.
All right, and just before we go, let's again walk you through our lead story this hour, which we are tracking. It's a black Thursday for some residents, and that's because in the early hours of this morning, there was an accident where 6 persons died following an accident involving 5 articulated trucks that collided along the Kwara end of the Lagos-Ibadan expressway. Our correspondents gathered that an accident had occurred on the previous day involving 2 articulated vehicles that collided and got burnt. These trucks from the previous day were being towed in the early hours of today when another oncoming truck suffered brake failure and rammed into their motorists, and travelers on the outbound and incoming sections of the Lagos-Ibadan expressway were for many hours earlier today stuck in a gridlock. However, security agencies are on ground, and they include the police, the FRC, the Lagos State Traffic Management Agency, who arrived at the scene earlier on to help restore order. And the updates we can confirm to you, our viewers, now is that that route, the path has been cleared of any traffic. So that's the latest updates that we have for you here on the program this hour. And again, our thoughts and prayers are with the family of those who have sadly departed as a result of these multiple accidents. Well, that does it for us here on the program, everyone. Thank you indeed for watching. On behalf of the production team and everyone here, I am Kelly Egiga, and you have just been served on Lunchtime Politics. Good afternoon.